Arsenal's legacy isn't just built on the legends they've made. It's built from the Hale End, their academy. From Liam Brady to Bukayo Saka, the Gunners' proud tradition brings through youth players developing stars from within. However, after gathering some stars, they're actually starving for trophies. So in this rebuild, we go back to Arsenal's roots. No signings, no shortcuts, just raw homegrown talent rising through the ranks to bring the glory to the Emirates. As our aim today is not just to build up academy players, as we try to make the next Invincibles and put faith in the future of the Hale End. As yes, people, this is going to be a difficult rebuild. Yes, the team is amazing. This is Arsenal. The rating should have updated slightly. We've got no injuries at least because we're starting fresh from the off-season. But the rules for this challenge are a little different to the usual ones we do with academies, because usually we give ourselves 5 seasons, but that rule is actually scrapped because I'm trying something new here. As I said, I want to create the Invincibles, not actually go invincible. I think with this team right here, that challenge will be a little bit hard.
It's focus, guys. Focus and heart. I don't ask you anything else.
As what you're seeing at the side of me on the screen is the nationalities and positions in a 4-4-2 shape of what the Arsenal Invincibles once were. These are all correct. So Sweden's Lundberg on the wing. We've got Jens Lehmann in goal as a German man. We've also got Loren at right back. And my aim is to turn this squad into, firstly, the 4-4-2 shape and have a youth player in each position to replicate the Invincibles. But we are allowed to keep 3 players and 3 players only. That is Bukayo Saka, Ethan Nwaneri, and also Miles Lewis-Skelly. The 3 breakout stars that avoided getting sold. Sorry to Emile Smith Rowe. However, they're going to try and have to fit into the formation as the rest of the players, all 8 of them, I can't renew contracts on, and they must leave the club at the end of their deal. So the likes of Thomas Partey, Jorginho, they're going first, and we've got a few other players out on loan at the moment. If you're looking for a rebuild including these though, you've got to go to the other video, relegating and rebuilding Arsenal. It's 2 months back on the channel. Once you're on the channel, if you could subscribe and leave a like, that would be highly appreciated, as Connor Brown, decent potential, but unfortunately is a right back. But we do need a centre back from England to replicate Sol Campbell, the traitor going from Spurs to Arsenal. And then we have Pascal Lorane, who could be Perez. But since we already have Nwaneri and Bukayo Saka for the wings, if this man could be a striker or a centre mid, because we need French players, that would be brilliant, because there's Henry, there is Vieira, and there's also Freddie Lundberg, who we're allowed to replace with Nwaneri or Saka, but we've got Bjorn Bork. I'll leave him in the academy though, as the first scout we're going for is France. Centre mid and striker, like I said, Henry and Vieira. Then I'm going to try a 4-star, 5-star scout in Cameroon to find a right back, and then Ivory Coast with a 5-star, 5-star scout to find the centre-back Kolo Touré. I couldn't believe it when I researched that he's actually an invincible player. Shows what I know about the Invincible season, as let's skip to see how the scouts have done. 2 weeks later, and I think we've already found the next Kolo Touré. His potential slightly lacking, but Frank Bakary, 67 rated. Then we've got Chaik Gay, who's going to be the next Lorraine. Philippe Celia could be Vieira, but we are lacking actually an Henry. Maybe it could be Sebastian Duret, as we can loan all these players out. And that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to promote them all and loan each and every one. Hopefully they improve out on loan. As you can see, all of them have gone out, and this is the main team. Yes, Miles Lewis-Skelly is missing. That is because I've trusted Calafiori for the time being. Nwaneri's still on the bench. He's not grown too much, for my liking anyway, and it's taken him a while to be a right mid. Whereas Saka's ready for that position, he'll change to a 90 overall. But the reason Lewis-Skelly isn't in the team, he starts as a 72 rated. He wasn't going to get played here, so now he's a 75, and hopefully the new Cole. Because yes, I've got to keep him at left back, because he's replacing Ashley Cole. As I just said, and he has to improve quick, and we need to get some strikers in quick. Because in the 4-4-2 shape, a lot of goals from Jesus and Kai Havertz, but once their contracts are done, They are leaving the club. They cannot come back. And the replacement we can't sign, so it would be Seb Drouet at this moment in time. One of the highest rated players we loaned out. We do have a decent right back, though. Madibo, I love that, because Lorem was the position I really was going to struggle with. The rest of them fine. I mean, we've still got a lot of players to find. We've got Felipe Cellier, who might not be the next Vieira. But no time limit on this video. Of course, we've got to get a full squad of youth players, plus Saka, Nweri, and Louis Skelly, as we do finish third in the league, which we've got to consistently do because we have to win that UCL title with the full squad of youth, as we were beaten by the real-life cup winners in Crystal Palace, and Chelsea beat us in the Carabao Cup, unlucky on penalties. And like in real life, beaten in the Champions League, this time by Inter, and I've got to have faith in that man, Mikel Arteta. He hasn't delivered a trophy again in another season, and Thomas Partey leaving the club right here. Luckily enough for us, though, it doesn't leave a position short because we have Rice and Ødegaard. But the more players leave, the more positions open, and we fall down the table. Yes, this is a youth rebuild, but I still want to be winning trophies. As look, a lot of players leave this year. Tierney, Tavares, Sambi Lokonga. And I wish I could spend that money, man. 293 million. It's a lot, but I trust these guys more than any signing I could actually make. Burrows, Rainey, and Hardship, the three musketeers. As 5-star scout, now going for a goalkeeper from Germany. The 4-star 5-star scout going for a striker for Dennis Bergkamp's region. And the German one being Jens Lehmann, as now Edu in the midfield from Brazil. That's the next to replicate, and Edu previously worked for Arsenal. If it is the same Edu I'm thinking, as Nweri I'm actually going to change as well. I'm going to change him to a left mid to replace Pires instead of Ljungberg. Saka is going to be the Ljungberg, and he's already higher rated than he was. That is a good sign because, of course, we're allowing these to slide. They are academy players. And whilst we do have Calafiori, we've got Tavares, Zinchenko, and Tierney for a year. I think I will risk it again, loaning out Miles Lewis Skelly for the future. We are in FC 25 here. We've got to think about potential ratings. Just because he plays in real life, that does not guarantee he will play here. As the academy is full again, we do have a keeper in Marlon Hutzel, and we do have a striker in Willems and a centre mid, Carlos Ferreira. Oh, God, as well. I can't believe what I'm seeing going into the next season, right? Waneri has played some games, but no Bukayo Saka. Martinelli occupies the left-hand side. Yes, we didn't win a trophy. Saka only won FA Cup to his name. And he's decided to join Harry Kane at Bayern Munich. Are you kidding me? Not great, and actually with him leaving, make sure we bottle the league because, again, behind City, second place finish. No FA Cup. It's a Midlands derby. Finale and the Carabao. Manchester City beat Nottingham Forest. However, this is a strange one because in the Champions League this season, without making a signing, we beat Manchester City. Technically, we've completed the challenge. Beating Paris this time 4-3 in a semi-final, what they couldn't do in real life. And yes, that is a trophy, the Champions League, which we should be ending on. But we don't have the youth players, and we are going to have to say goodbye to the players like Ødegaard, Saliba, Gabriel, who are running out of contract. And we'll have to get replaced by these guys out on loan. Any decent loan players? Well, the Sebastian Drouet, 77 rated. Frank Bakary, the centre-back I was really worried about being from the Ivory Coast, doing decently. And Louis Skelly, I loaned out, +7 at Fenerbahce. Sensational winning the Champions League, and he's learnt his trade from Jose Mourinho, as the other left-back's now leaving. Tierney, the first one. And who am I kidding? I don't care who the other left-back is. Calafiori, he doesn't cut it. Louis Skelly into the team, 88 defending now.
I think I'm a special one.
You truly are, Jose, because what you've done with this man is nothing short of phenomenal. However, we did lose Bukayo Saka last season. That is one thing we've got to consider. Now, we could look for Perez. We could also look for Ljungberg, but this guy looks more like Perez. Lane, Pascal first name. Cellier in the midfield. Now, his rating didn't do too well out on loan. So, despite having all the Invincibles covered nation-wise, I'm still going to go for more of them. Because if one of them doesn't work out, we've still got to get another one in that position who could. So firstly, got to look for a French central midfielder. And then I'll go Brazil again, because I actually didn't see much improvement in Ferreira. And this season, we lose both of our centre-backs, which is going to be massive. Gabriel and Saliba. Oh, my days. That is painful. Also lose Martinelli and also lose Leandro Trossard. So I am going to check Sweden, see if we can get the next Freddie Ljungberg. However, remember this man, he's currently the lowest rated player in the squad, but Bjorn Borg, funny name, one of the first players that joined through the academy. He's still here and usable, as Nowhere doesn't want to change position. But this man needs to be the next Sol Campbell, so needs to be central. Maybe I should have scouted England. Maybe that's a big mistake on my part. However, I'm not going to worry about it too much. Now, I am going to change the style slightly. I'm going to go a bit deeper, counter-attacking. Now, we did just win the Champions League in a 4-4-2, but I think if we go without a trophy this season, the fans will be understanding, because we are going the youth route now. We're gonna lose Rice, Odegaard, Gabriel, Saliba. In fact, all of them apart from Lewis Skelly. So he's the player on his plus role of false back going into the midfielders. Now we need to get loaning out because this team won't be together come next season. The defense is getting destroyed. And incoming comments, I know, Max, you're just loaning all the players out. Well, that is what I've got to do to improve them, and it's almost time. Players like these filter into the team, as we do have some good ones this year. Oliver Fournier come through the academy. Now that is the Patrice Evra region. Not Patrice Evra, Patrick Vieira. That's who I actually meant. We've got Seb Drouet, the new Henri at Real Sociedad. David Moll is a new Dutch player who's improving out on loan more than Wilhelms. Then we've got Frank Bakary. Engerstorm's done quite decent. And this man right here, Ethan Noel. I've done it again.
He's done it again.
Just like I did with Lewis Skelly, I've gone and loaned out one of our better players. I've trusted Reece Nelson for the time being, and Martinelli, whose contract's getting ripped up, and now he's higher rated than Martinelli, so a win-win. He's going to filter into the squad, but the player I'm actually worried about is Connor Brown, who's been training defensively to be a centre-back. Just not there yet, though, and I tell you what, after winning the UCL, 47 goals and 20 assists for Kai Havertz. What alternate universe? Surely he's got to win the Ballon d'Or. If it's probably not for Isaac, who does unfortunately win the league. And he wins the FA Cup in a 2-1 win over Luton. Leicester win the Carabao. I think it is going to be a trophyless season. No pressure for Arteta though. Maybe he should have won the Super Cup because now we're going to integrate the youth. Saliba, Gabriel going. It is going to make a huge change, and the youth probably have to make an impact because we're getting beat by the likes of PSV. And that's not looking good for us. For me, that's kind of sloppy, and seeing a Dutch team does remind me, unfortunately, I don't think he's in the game, but Van Persie's son, Shaquille Van Persie, actually is a player in this academy. But yes, not in the game, and look how the team's changing now. Bakary gets into this squad alongside Lewis Skelly. Engstorm, who literally came through the academy last year, has a place in the team. In fact, we have a Swedish player on the right. We do have a Frenchman on the left. But unfortunately for them, we have a Waneri returning and he's got to play. Just a shame he won't become a right mid. He's always got to be a bloody winger. As speaking on specific positions, we lose 2 huge players this season, or more than 2, but David Raya and White are part of the defensive unit that have won Arsenal the Champions League, but we're still losing a hell of a lot of players here because Odegaard, our captain, 91 rated, Declan Rice and Kai Havertz has 40 plus goals going. As goalkeeper wise, a decent replacement is Leo Schmidt, a goalkeeper. We have Herzl, Haas, so we're kind of covered in them positions. For next season, as Drouet is playing, then we've got 2 strikers in David Moll from the Dutch League, or from the Netherlands, and Matthias Wilhelms, who have got to come good, as now currently in the academy. Only 1 player we could actually promote, or 2, Alejandre Juardain and Philippe Manson. And you know what? These 3 guys have served us absolutely brilliantly, but for 1 season and 1 season only, I am going to shut this academy down. Trust all these players that we have in the reserves, because trust me, there's a lot of them. Loan them out this season and trust this team for its final run-in. As the unit's going to get broken up, we've got Odegaard. Oh my days, it really hurts to see them all upset, but Waneri shouldn't be that begrudged. He should be playing, and finally can change to the right midfield slot. Just bloody Brown we're waiting on now, 49 rated, is getting more physical. In fact, a sharp increase in physicality, as now we've got an 180 rated, plus 7 for Oliver Fournier. That is our Vieira man. We've got Engstrom who's going up. Courtier, not much. Moll can be another striker. Anyone else of quality? Wilhelms I've been calling him, but I forgot a V is only in Germany. Or a W is a V. This is the Dutch league, so it's probably Willems. Schmidt is the German one, and he's a goalkeeper, doing very decent. And we'll have to replace Raya, who's still significantly higher rated. Havertz at a 90. What universe are we living in? Brown on the bench and Madibo. It is a pretty weak-looking team. And there we have it. It is 5th. We've finally missed Champions League football. A -1 goal difference. Now, with weaker defenders coming in next year from the academy, this is going to get very rough for the team going forward. At least we have got a trophy if you count the Community Shield as one. I know Guardiola does. Recently came out and said it, and Newcastle are threat in this career mode. Even in the Carabao final, won by Chelsea. And can we go out and hopefully shine? As no, it is a Manchester derby in the finale. United, another team we've got to watch, as beaten by Leipzig. And now this is what we are left with. Of course, we've only signed the contract of Lewis Skelly and Noweri. Back up to the club, and I've got to say, this is brilliant, in fact. Brown, yes, needs to be a centre-back. We probably should have scouted another Englishman, but he's right-footed, and Bakary on the left-footed. Ferreira is our weak spot, so I am going to send the scouts out again. I'm going to loan out players again. A really good team most of the way around. We've got a strong player in midfield, then one up front, one in defence, and one in the goal. Our Jens Lehmann regen, Leo Schmidt. This invincible season needs repeating, but could we actually do it in the Europa League first? Maybe not a bad thing to start off in, as we've actually gone into the Conference League. I'm guessing wins elsewhere did that. We want to finish in the Champions League for next season, though. And an FA Cup wouldn't go amiss. That would be really good for our youthful team, which officially will be all youth if I accept this offer for Calafiori, which I have gone ahead and done. So Arteta has a full youth squad, apart from Noweri and Lewis Skelly, but come on, we were always keeping those two. As in previous challenges gone by, we only needed 5 youth players. Here's 9, and £239 million in profit, which could lead to a return of an ex-Youth Academy graduate, or 2 of them, because there's 2 here, Bukayo Saka and Emile Smith Rowe. Sorry to the old lady that likes singing the song, but they're not coming back. Yes, I'm going to go against them, as now Brazil and England. Definitely won't find a player going straight in the squad, but still we can loan out. Edu and Sol Campbell, the hardest players to reproduce. As you know what, despite in the starting 11, I might loan out Ferreira and Bruno Ferreira, because we've got 2, both from Brazil, both quite young. Igor Reis is another one. He looks more like a winger / attacking midfielder, which we don't play in this shape, and it's just all riding on Brown. If this man can change to a centre-back pretty soon, we are sorted. I'm going to be loaning out Bergray, and I'm going to loan out Willems the striker, and leave this team to hopefully get back in the UCL and maybe win the Conference League. And finally, the day has come. I'm more excited about this than when we won the UCL. Connor Brown can be a centre-back, and yes, it doesn't affect his rating, but at least that job's done now, as he stays in the team with a decent right-back not being played. This team is very good. As I want to see the highest rated, we've got Waneri and Lewis Skelly. It's always the real-life players, but then Sebastian Drouet, 91. Schmidt was up there in rating, and I only loaned out 1 Ferreira. That was Bruno, 75. So still we're struggling in the middle of the park. But then we have a bench player, Philippe Cellier, decent, a Frenchman. And we'll have to change position, as Wilhelms at West Ham United didn't score many goals because he's not on the goal-scoring page, but Seb with 35, Waneri with 20 and 13. This is how you judge the youth players. Not off trophies just yet, because I think we're still a little bit off it. Drouet, 25 goals. Only behind Haaland, Noweri on the assists, and Schmidt on the clean sheet. So that is brilliant. Joint with the Golden Glove. And a few players in the team of the season, including the 2 real-life players. Then Bakary, our Torre regen. Then, of course, non-regen, because that's how you judge how good the team is, as we did finish 2nd place. 10 defeats is a lot, and we were just off Manchester City again. We can't be finishing second each time, and we've got to win the FA Cup. Or at least a trophy, but look at the penalties. 10-9 against West Ham United. At least the youth were scoring spot kicks as Manchester City win the Carabao Cup. And hey, the youth have done it. We've won the Conference League over Frankfurt. So youth can win trophies. Maybe I judged them a little bit early. I mean, the ratings are pretty decent. Maybe we could put up a Champions League challenge, which was won by Manchester City, and I think the common thing to see there, as our ex-players are going to rivals, so our youth are trying to beat the old team that we had, as these are some of the best players we had to release at the start of the season, including Smith Rowe and Saka. And yeah, they're staying in the Premier League. Only Rice has gone out to Italy alongside King Kai Havertz. Raya's still at Man City. William Saliba at Liverpool. Now, defence is where we could have used him. We could have gone for a Saliba regen. But like I keep saying, I wanted to just mimic the Invincibles if I could. And if we could go Invincible, that would be great, but I don't expect to do it. We've got to get this squad right, and we've got to put the players on the bench that deserve to be there, like Willems, Bergray, and Ferreira. He can actually go in the starting 11, the weakest spot, alongside Brown. Imagine if we didn't have to play 4-4-2. We could have actually signed Saka back. But I don't want to do that. I want to trust this now. And one thing I'm going to do right here is put all the starting players into the Arsenal kit, because they've got to fight for that badge. And in the picture, they've got to have the badge on. Only the starters get to wear them, though, and the rest of the money is going into contracts. Look at the amount of money these youth players won. They started on less than £1,000. Or less than £1,000 for anybody outside of England watching, as look at the amount that Seb Drouet is taking out of Arsenal Football Club, draining the budget as 143 million, almost 20 mil on contracts. Arteta will be fuming, but I'll be fuming if he doesn't get it right now. He's been improving players all along, and to keep that confidence rating, he's got to win the cup, win the league, and reach the UCL finale. Okay, and the first thing we check, this is not the end all though. The Premier League is won. Mikel Arteta had to deliver it. Sure, it's took longer than he probably wanted, but that's another trophy. Fully for the youth this time, as the FA Cup won by Aston Villa. Oh man, as well, that was so winnable. We lost to the Villains in the semi-finals as Carabao goes to Manchester City over Spurs. At least the rivals don't have our quality, and to be fair, all them three winners at the top of the Champions League phase. Us second, I like it, meaning we drew Ajax 5-0 overall. That is a hammering. Then we got Manchester City, and we beat them just like we did in the league, to then get Real Madrid. I think you know where this is going. Atalanta in the finale. We have made it to a second finale. The first one won by the current Arsenal team, but this team's got to do it again. A team fully made out of youth, as you can see, quite a few in the team of the year. And this is the team that we've currently made. Ferreira hasn't been playing, but he's going to have to be in this squad, which mimics the Invincibles. And can we actually deep, by the way, that 1, Atalanta are the team we face in the finale, and 2, we've got a 76 rated in the midfield reach this finale. Sure, quite a few 90 rated, as the captain is now Fournier. He came into the academy quite, I think, recent, but he is the captain in the midfield because it was Vieira in real life, and he's the player mimicking him, as that's a good ball towards the back stick. Still, we need an early shot off here. So far, so sloppy. 4-4-2 shape, maybe not the formation I wanted to go with. Bakary, what a tackle. Now we go. Molly skipping around the man, and he's fed through our new Henry. It is Drouet. The keeper's coming. He's Panenkered him in a UCL finale. It had to be the Henry regen. Look at them scenes, even from the young bench. Arsenal's academy are doing wonders. He kept on side perfectly with the left back, and look at that. That is world-class quality. He might just be one of the world's best strikers with finishes like that, as Ferreira, the lowest rated. Could he join in the fun? He's going to shoot. That's why he's the lowest overall. That stinker, or howler, takes us into the second half as Nweri, I've probably said his name wrong a lot of times, doesn't get on the ball too much in this game. Maldini does onto Miguel. Shot, but Bakary's in the way again. I thought Brown would be better than him, but he isn't. And Moll with the tackle, who is supposed to be Bergkamp's regen. Maybe he could say Van Persie, as now he skips around his man. It's Moll. He probably should have got closer. But what a finish that is from our other striker, the Dutchman, the Flying Dutchman. with that shot flying into the side netting. What a finish this is. I mean, he's used his other partner in the strike force, run round. Milenkovic is nowhere near. And this academy rebuild's going very well. Leave a comment if you want to see this done with another team, one I've already done where I make the full squad youth players. Apart from real life youth, of course. That's the only reason that 2 players have stuck into this team as Modibo. Look at the pace from our right back here. The Loren replacement as now. If he could try and drill that to the whack post, it's in! Oh my days! Milenkovic was watching it. Fair props to Atlanta to getting towards the finale, but this youth team know how to win, and that is a ball that should have been cut out. Milenkovic not reading it though, and the announcers just said he's the top scorer in this tournament. Oh my days, that's a fluky goal. Fair play to Miguel, no stopping it. I'm not too disheartened. Yes, that sad music is playing, but it's only because that was a sad goal. Fairly though, and Atlanta actually coming forward again with Delap. It's in the middle to Glauc. I've brought the keeper out. It's a brilliant save, but that could have been 3-2 and a very nervy ending as Ferreira's tracking is not very good. He's 76 rated, does win the ball. Get rid of it now. Probably could do with another goal to try and kill this game off with 1 minute left. Moll out wide. Waneri's turn to shine maybe. He's got the striker in the middle. If he could try and hit him at the back post again. Hat-trick for the French striker. The top scorer in the Champions League. Team of the season. This man, Doué, or Seb for short. Phenomenal. A repeat goal, and this time the assist from Ethan Nweri guarantees a Champions League trophy for the young gunners of Arsenal. So the regen Vieira gets to lift that trophy into the night sky, and I've really enjoyed this youthful rebuild. Let me know in the comments below, are these fun to watch? Would you like to see them tweaked a bit? Comment down below for video ideas, teams to do, but if you just want something right now, click my hands for what YouTube recommend you.